Now, I know I've done a lot of dupe videos, but this video is going to be the ultimate compilation of all of the dupes in one single video. So if you want to build a capsule collection using my top dupes, this is it. Okay, as long as I don't find anything better than these products, these remain the dupes. So firstly, primer. The Swiss Beauty Hold Me Primer is a great alternative for the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I've tried out everything out there. In terms of that rigidity and the way it holds the makeup, this one comes the closest. e.l.f. is a little bit more forgiving. It's a little bit more easygoing on the skin. But if you wanted that same feel and texture of the Milk Makeup Primer, this is what gives that. And it's also not extremely dewy like the e.l.f. Primer is. So if you have oily skin, I think you would really like it. I like the e.l.f. one a tad bit better than this, but this is also super affordable compared to the e.l.f. one. So yeah, this is also like an affordable recommendations video, so this is what you should be trying out. Benefit primer, any pore filling primer, pretty much the Insight Pore Minimizer Primer is what comes closest to that kind of a silicone textured primer which fills in your pores beautifully without clumping, without caking. So just get this one. It's also really affordable. And then for foundation, for a full coverage foundation, like something similar to like the Benefit Pore Professional Foundation, something similar to the Charlotte Tilbury foundation, which is like full coverage matte and not like drying matte, but you know, it's pretty much full coverage and matte. The Mars foundation, high coverage foundation, is what comes closest to that in terms of coverage, in terms of that semi-matte finish, and in terms of how it looks as well. It looks really beautiful. It looks like the Charlotte Tilbury one, but for half the cost of that. If you have combination oily skin type, normal skin type, you wanted a full coverage foundation for an occasion and you wanted it to look nice, not very dry and cakey, try this out. And then a cushion foundation, I feel that would pretty much, if they had good shade options, would take over the Indian market and will replace all of your cushion foundations, is this Inside Cush On You foundation. There are not a lot of shades available in this. I have this one in the shade 03 Caramel Tan, which is a pretty decent match. I'm not sure, like most Inside products are a little bit orange and darker on my skin tone, so do not take my recommendation to the dot as the shade match. But yeah, this is a really good cushion foundation. It's like beautifully skin-like, beautifully glowy, like not very high coverage, but sort of light medium coverage, but looks amazing on the skin. Like if you wear this, it would look so expensive and nobody would even guess the price of this. And then for a skin tint, like from Insight as well, this one is the Insight Skin Tint 5-in-1 Multifunctional Serum Foundation. It is a skin tint. It is pretty good in terms of coverage. You can build it up to medium coverage. It's again very skin-like. It doesn't have a very dewy finish, but also not extremely matte. The shade in this is a Hazelnut shot, again a little bit orange. I've seen a lot of people pick on few other shades. You can try that out, but not Hazelnut shot if you're around my skin tone. It is a little bit orange, but I can still pull this one off, and I use a lighter concealer and everything and try to make it work. But really beautiful, very hydrating on the skin, does not emphasize any dry patches, doesn't cling on any dry patches. It does tend to like look a little bit darker by the end of the day, so oxidation is there, but it's not very visible because it's not a very pigmented thick product. I've also used this underneath my eyes, around my mouth, sometimes just like a concealer, and I've really enjoyed using this. And this would pretty much replace all of the skin tints in your collection, so just get this one. And it's like comparable to Laura Mercier, the older skin tint that they used to have. Now they've changed it up. It's very similar to that. It's similar to a lot of other skin tints that I own as well, something from Bobbi Brown. So you can pretty much get this and it would replace all of that. I've kept this in my hand. I'm not sure if I should recommend this. This is again a beautiful skin tint from L'Oreal. You can keep this very light medium or medium, and it looks really beautiful on the skin. It doesn't exaggerate, emphasize anything. It also has like a semi-matte finish, and it's not too drying, cakey matte. It would work in my opinion for people across different skin types, and I like this because it also works and doubles up as a foundation. So if you didn't want to get like the mask one which I recommended, which is very high in terms of coverage, you can get or Insight, which is very low in terms of like, which is pretty much skin-like and very natural looking. You wanted something that gives you more room to play around. This is what I think you should try out. I mean, this is not a dupe of any one particular product, but it's like a combination of a lot of different skin tints and foundations together. I have this one in the shade tan. Tan is lighter than medium tan. I mean, for color corrector, the mask, I finally got the mask cancel concealer. This is orange. So if you wanted something peach, you could try out something from K-Beauty. They have a really nice color corrector. But if you wanted it to be super affordable, mask has just an orange color corrector. So you can mix this with your perfect shade match of a concealer and you would get a peach toned color corrector. This is a really nice affordable option for a color corrector. And this is a really nice option for a concealer, the mask cancel concealer. This one is so similar to Too Faced, Bobbi Brown, a lot of different concealers, but I don't really have one high-end product I can point to and say, okay, this is similar to that, because the formulation of this one in itself is quite unique. It has a really nice finish, coverage, blendability. The way it sits underneath your eyes, it's a little bit thick, a little bit creamy, but it doesn't crease, cake, fade away, nothing like that. So it's a very unique sort of a concealer for this price point. And so if you get this, you'll pretty much be sorted. But if you wanted something a little bit more dewy, you can try out the PAC Studio HD Liquid Concealer, especially if you have very dry under eye area and if you have mature skin. You wanted something a little bit more hydrating, a little bit more fresh looking, you can try this. I mean, this video might seem a little bit repetitive, but it is all concise in one video. And after this, I think I will be trying out a lot of new products, but there are no new launches that is so interesting that I want to try, okay, to be honest. And then loose powder recommendations. Inside Banana loose powder, very finely milled, very similar to the Huda Beauty loose powder. It's very thin, and especially if you have dry under eye area, you would really like it. It's also really nice and affordable. It's very, very thin. It's not a thick product. But if you wanted something a little bit more pigmented, a little bit more coverage, you can try out the Maybelline Fit Me loose powder. I have this one in the shade light medium because I feel like these are a little bit pigmented and darker. So go for a shade lighter and these would sort out pretty much. This one is for people with combination oily skin type, and if you wanted a little bit more coverage, this is just for like that light wash of powder, something to just set your concealer. This is not as drying as this one could be, like especially if you have dry under eye area. I'm not sure, but this is a really nice loose powder. And then powder foundation, of course, how can I not mention my Maybelline Super Stiff powder foundation. This has quickly replaced all of the powder foundations in my collection, the MAC, the Estee Lauder. I use this one over everything. It's not very cakey, it's not very pigmented, which is what I really like. I use this with a powder brush, like something that is a little bit more flared out, and I use a light dusting of it, and that's how I like it. I don't want to add coverage with this product, but I want to set it with this, and it just looks so good, keeps all of that sweat and oil at bay. And this is one of my most used products this year. I really like. And then for blush, if you wanted an alternative for the Rare Beauty liquid blushes, e.l.f. has really good shade range and options you can try out. This one is in the shade Bronze Bombshell, which is one of my favorite, most used shades. And if you wanted a good cream blush, this is more of like a little bit runnier consistency than this. If you wanted a very affordable cream blush option, Mars Blush Hour blushes are so good. They have really good shade options, again very deep shades as well, and these last pretty well on my skin, so I don't really have a problem with this lasting. If you wanted a powder blush, my Maybelline Fit Me blush in the shade Passionate is quickly replaced a lot of my powder blushes from MAC, K-Beauty, any of that, because I really like the formulation, the shade. This is sort of like a mauve nude shade. I really like the undertone of this, and I really like how the formulation is not powdery, dry, matte. I have blushes from Mars Cosmetics, which makes my skin look so dry and patchy and like it's sucking out the moisture from my skin, but this is beautifully matte. Like it's a soft matte finish, but it's not something that has a lot of kickback like the K-Beauty blushes. If you wanted a good alternative, an affordable alternative for the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, look no further, because Insight Radiance Filter is where it is at. It's exactly similar to that in terms of the formulation, the kind of the consistency of it and everything. Like e.l.f. is a little bit too shimmery, too metallic, and Mars is a little bit too sticky, thick. But this one has the same light moisturizing texture of the Charlotte Tilbury one. The shimmer particles are not too intense, it's not too visible, and even the glow is very, very subtle. That's how Charlotte Tilbury is. It's not a very intense glow. So this is what compares to that, and it's again a very affordable product. I have this one in the shade Tan. Quick mention, I mean, it's not similar to any pot blushes. I don't really own a lot of pot blushes from high-end makeup brands, other than I think Bobbi Brown and Charlotte Tilbury, but this one is not similar to any of those. But I mean, if you wanted to try out a good pot blush which you can use on your lips, eyes, cheek and everything, the Maybelline Cloudtopia blush is so good. This one is in the shade Enchanted Mauve. I absolutely love the way this holds up on my skin, the shade, the blendability. I can use this on my lips as well, and it's not extremely dewy, so if you wanted something a little bit more on the matte side. And then for bronzer, there are not a lot of bronzer options in India, and every single time I mention this one, someone mentioned like 800 rupees is not a price I would pay for a bronzer in India. It's not affordable. Yes, I understand that, because there are not a lot of affordable options available for bronzer. There's so many options for blushes, powder, everything, but nobody's launching bronzers. Only if they launch, I can recommend it. And this is the only bronzer I have found that can replace like the Too Faced bronzer stick or the Clinique bronzer stick that I own. This one is from Lakme. This one is their MultiSlayer face stick in the shade neutral medium. At least some brand decided to launch a bronzer. You can use a stick foundation in deeper shade as a bronzer. That's up to you. If you can find a lot of affordable options, let me know. But this is what I have so far. And for a contour option, this one from Makeup Revolution is really nice. It's a very cool toned product, so don't use this as a bronzer. It is a contour shade, and this is very similar to like the Huda Beauty Tanto, if you remember that. I know it's discontinued. This is similar to that. And then for highlighter, of course, I know there's no guessing in this one. The Mask Glow Fly Liquid Highlighter, one of the best purchases of mine. I don't regret this at all. It is so buttery smooth, finely milled shimmer particles, so nicely put together where it's not too stark, not too visible on the skin, and the blendability, the shine and everything that it gives is beautiful. Replaces pretty much every single highlighter in my collection. Now, if you wanted a powder highlighter, I don't really use a powder highlighter anymore, but I feel like this powder highlighter would replace a lot of high-end powder highlighters, and if you have this, you don't really need to buy those. This one is the Maybelline Master Chrome Metallic Highlighter. This one is in the shade Molten Gold. You can use this with a very light hand. You can intensify it. You can, spritz your face with some setting spray and then use this, and again, it'll look really beautiful. So this is something you can try out. It also works out like an eyeshadow. Like recently I had to do some look for a brand, and they wanted a very like stark, intense highlighter, and I used this, and in the shade Rose Gold particularly, and I really like it. So I still keep all of these because there are times I do need something a little bit more intense because of brand requirements. So yeah. Now for setting spray, something that locks in your makeup, pretty much makes it transfer proof, is the L'Oreal Infallible Setting Mist. There is no like sugar coating this. The scent on this one is too strong, and every single time I use this, I have to make sure that I take a deep breath, do not breathe after using this, because it's too strong, and I am someone who's very sensitive to fragrance, and if it gets into my nostril, I'll be sick for a week. So that's the thing with this one, but it does set your makeup in place. And also the nozzle on this one is not good. I wish they gave like a more continuous setting mist sort of a nozzle, so it would be a little bit more easier to disperse the product. This one actually pretty much splits the product. But if you wanted something that you can use as a prepping mist as well as a setting mist, this one from e.l.f. This one is their Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray. Works really well as both. Like it sets your makeup as well, and you can use this as a prepping mist. I don't use a L'Oreal one before makeup ever. It's just to set my makeup. This one can be used both ways. And then mascara. I feel like Maybelline pretty much does really good mascara. So if you have some of the Maybelline mascaras, you don't really need to go out and buy any high-end mascara. Of course, that's your choice. But this one does the job for me. I can use this on a day-to-day basis, or with a very light hand. It gives me good lift and volume, and if I just go over it with a couple of different coats, I get good length and volume again. For lip liners, Swiss Beauty, Mask, all of them make really good lip liners. You can pick and choose the one you really like. They're pretty affordable as well. They have so many different shade options. So yeah. The Mars one, the recent reformulation, can be a little bit like too creamy, and they do tend to bleed a little bit, but that doesn't happen with Swiss Beauty. And for brows, okay, for brows, the brow laminate, I like to use this. This is so good. And then for single eyeshadows, I really like these Daily Forever 52 eyeshadows. I've talked about these so many times. This replaces my Too Faced single eyeshadows as well. It is so nice, smooth, not chunky, not chunky fallout, but the shine it gives on your eyes is amazing. And then coming to lipsticks, a good satin formulation is from Maybelline. This one is their satin lipstick, Serum satin lipsticks. I absolutely love it. I've done an entire dedicated shorts video of the dupes of this one, like what it is a dupe of. You can watch that. And same thing goes with their matte formulation. Amazing. This is like a super hit launch from them. I absolutely love it. I love the lasting power. The satin ones don't last as long as the matte ones, of course, but I really like both the formulations. Like a moussey formulation if you want it. This is similar to the Fenty Beauty Mousse lipsticks, but not similar to the MAC powder kiss lipsticks. It is a little bit like moussey, a little bit blurring, but not too much. It's also not very drying on the lips. The Matte Mousse lipsticks, they have really good shade range as well, but not a dupe of any of the high-end lipsticks that I own. Like a transfer proof bullet lipstick, you can try out Nika. Amazing. And if you wanted shiny lipstick like the Makeup by Mario one's Sugar Peptide lipstick is what you should be trying out. This is so good. This is called their Glide Peptide Plumping Gloss Stick in the shade Brown Buzz. You have to use this with a lip liner for better effect. It's so plumping, so moisturizing, nice sheen. It's not transfer proof, so it's not very long lasting. It will fade away with every meal, every sip. So it is high maintenance. Again, another high shine lipstick similar to the Fenty Beauty one with even better formulation, something that doesn't sit on the crevices of your lips, exaggerate the dry patches, is from Makeup Revolution. This one is a gloss stick in the shade Chocolate Ganache. The shade itself is not a dupe for the Fenty Beauty one, but the formulation is amazing. I feel like it's even better than the Fenty one. And if you wanted like a lip oil gloss, you can wear it on your own as well. It's like lightly pigmented, is from Maybelline. This one is the Lifter Gel, and I have this in 4 shades. I use the shade Berry Burst the most. It's in my everyday makeup drawer, so I didn't get it, but yeah, they have pretty decent shades. You can try it out. It's a little bit sticky, so that makes it a little bit more long lasting than most of the other lip oils in the market. So yeah, this is something I really like. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I covered everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Do let me know if you want to watch more such videos. Product demos of these I can't promise because it's a long video to film and I can't demo all of these products, but I have talked about these so many times on my channel that every single time you've stumbled across any video of mine, you would have found it. So let me know what you think about these products, and let me know if you want to watch more such videos in the comments down below, and what other videos you'd like to watch. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.